coming to you live again from TCT 2022 here in Boston. I'm Mike Gibson, and I'm joined by my good friend and colleague, Shamir Mehta. You know, I'm very jealous of you. You just did the trial that I've been trying to do, was lined up to do some aggressive LDL lowering with PCSK9 inhibition after an MI, and you got to do it. So congratulations. So talk to us a little bit about it.
So Mike, we had a small grant to study this question. You've been wanting to do this trial. This is a trial that has needed to be done for a very long time. We took patients with full-blown STEMI, presenting to the cath lab, and we randomized them to receive PCSK9 inhibitor or sham control on top of high-dose statin therapy. And we're talking rosuvastatin 40 or atorvastatin 80 milligrams. The goal was to determine how much cholesterol reduction can you get in addition to high-dose statin in mostly statin-naive patients. So that was the goal.
And, you know, to kind of get the ball rolling early, you know, there can be so many lags in getting therapies initiated. Let's get it going right in the hospital, right at the peak of inflammation and necrosis. And, you know, there's a lot of anti-inflammatory effects of these drugs. So I'm glad you got it started early. What did you find?
Well, we found that there was a 22% relative risk reduction, or relative reduction in percent reduction in LDL at the primary follow-up of 6 weeks. So that reduction, remember, is in statin-naive patients as well as in patients on prior statin therapy. And remember, we did not have an LDL cutoff. We just gave the drug routinely, and the premise for that was they're coming in with a life-changing event. They're coming in with a STEMI event. All of the other trials selected patients who already had high LDL cholesterol despite the use of high-dose statin. In this case, we gave it routinely.
You know, people often question, you know, why do you need 3 drugs? Well, there's a lot of, your body's amazing, it has a lot of escape mechanisms. So if you take a statin, it starts to absorb more cholesterol. That's why you're on ezetimibe. And then, you know, adding a PCSK9 inhibitor blocks another escape mechanism. So these 3, you know, to use the Tom Cruise line, you complete me. You know, I'm looking into your eyes right now, Shamir. Yeah. But so you did get the LDLs down aggressively, and then you did something creative. You took the PCSK9 away to show what happens then, right?
Yeah, we withdrew the PCSK9 inhibitor, and all of the benefit was lost.
Yeah.
The point really is to make a statement. The statement is that, you know, these are the best drugs that we have available for lowering cardiovascular risk. And as interventional cardiologists, yes, we do the primary PCI and we do the intervention, but really this patient has to live their entire life. And these drugs, by and large, are being used in 1% of patients. They're being withheld from the highest risk patients who would potentially benefit from this therapy, and these trials are not being done. You know that as well as I do. So the question is, moving forward, how do we get these trials done? How do we get them funded, and how do we get them completed?
Right. So, you know, I think the next step is obvious. We need to see, does this improve outcomes? I think a lot of us think it probably will. So let's work hard to see if we can get the job done. Thanks for joining us today, Shamir.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us live. And thanks for all of you for joining us here from Boston, TCT 2022.